Hi, this video tutorial is about setting up virtual office hours in the Office Hours template course. This one in particular is about setting up the scheduler model within that course. So, to begin with, go ahead and make sure you have editing on at the top of the course when you're in your Office Hours course. Go ahead and click Add an Activity or Resource. Scroll down and you're going to find the Scheduler module right here. Go ahead and click Add. And name your scheduler for what you'd like to call it. In this case, I'm setting up virtual office hours, so I'm going to use office hours. You can create an introduction if you want to. You know, these are my office hours, sign up for a time, something like that. I'm going to actually leave that blank for right now. And in the options area, if you want students to be able to schedule multiple appointments, I would just set up students could register unlimited appointments in the scheduler. I'm not going to have set up booking in groups by default. Guard time is how much time you have before a session comes to be present that you want students to not be able to sign up for it. So I'm going to go ahead and enable this, and I'm going to give myself 15 minutes of guard time. So students cannot sign up for a session when it's 15 minutes or sooner before the session, so that you know that a student's not going to pop in and sign up for for a session at the last minute. You can set this guard time to any amount of time that you'd like to. The default slot duration, I'm going to set up for 30 minutes. I'd encourage you to set this according to your own expectations. How long do you expect each one of these meetings to take? And by default, do you want to have notifications about them? I'm going to leave that as no for now, and we'll deal with that in just a minute. So I would recommend turning on the booking form and let students enter a message. Yes, it's optional for student if they want to enter a message. And I would give them the opportunity to upload a few files to that. So this way, when they're booking the appointment, it'll give them the option to add a comment, a message about it, like what they want to talk about, and give them the option to upload a document that they may want to talk about during those office hours appointments. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and click Save and Display. And what we have here is we see that we have office hours. We don't have any students in this course. I just made this course. But now what we want to do is we want to add slots. So I'm going to click Add Slots, and I'm going to actually add repeated slots. So let's say that I wanted to set up office hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I'll start when I want those slots to begin. So I'm going to go ahead and start on March 23rd. I want to repeat these time slots. I'm going to set up for the end of the current semester, which would be May 8th is the last possible time. You can change that, of course, if you want to just set them up week by week or something like that. That's perfectly acceptable. But I'm going to have on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, beginning on the 23rd of March, I want to create sessions starting at 2 o'clock, so I'm going to put 1400 in there, that's the military time, to 4 o'clock, 1600. So right now, from the 23rd of March to the 8th of May, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to set up appointments. And so within those 2 hours that I've set up, I'm going to divide it into slots. That's right here, divide this into slots. How many minutes do you want per slot? I'm going to say 30 minutes per slot. I'm not going to give myself a break between slots, although you could choose to give yourself a 5-minute break or something like that. So these slots are just going to be back to back to back to back. And maximum number of students per slot, I'm going to go ahead and enable that and say 1 student per slot because I want that to be there. And the location, you could put in the Zoom meeting link if you're going to have them virtual. If you're going to set them up, you might put your office number in there or something like that if they were going to be in person. But just for the sake of having something in here, I'm going to put my personal meeting link in here so that I have a link in there so that students can follow. So the teacher here is me. I want to display this slot to students from now, and I am actually going to email a reminder on the morning of the appointment. I find that's a really handy way to remind people that they've made an appointment and that it's time to show up for that day. So when I click Save Changes, it's going to show me that 84 slots have been added. Notice that Monday has a 2 to 2:30, a 2:30 to 3, a 3 to 3:30, and a 3:30 to 4. So these are ready for students to sign up for. Now, if I switch my role to a student role, this is what it looks like to students. They'll come in here into the scheduler in your office hours course, for example, and maybe they want to book this 2 to 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 25. When I click Book Slot, it's going to kick me into this thing to say, I want to discuss my paper. And then if they wanted to upload a file, they could drag and drop that here, and then they just click Confirm Booking. And now it shows that I have this slot booked, and because I gave the students the opportunity to book more slots, they could go ahead and do that. One thing that I'd like to point out, because I set up one student per slot in these office hours, now you could set up multiple students per slot if you want to. That's just change that setting when you're setting up the slots in the scheduler. So I could come back and book another slot, but notice that 2 o'clock is gone on Wednesday, March 25, because I've already booked it for myself. So as soon as another student books that slot, you will see that they have booked it, and that it won't be available to other students if they've hit the number of student limit that you set when you created the slots. So when I return to my normal role, I can see here that I have booked this slot. So when I come into my office hours, I can see that there's the student signed up here, this Ryan Hazen fella, and he's added an attachment. So if I just click on his name there, I can go and I can see that he's got a message right here. I want to discuss my paper, and if I had uploaded a file, that would appear right here, and I could open that up and have a look at it. So I'm just going to go back to the front page of this course just so you can get oriented to where it is. So when you want to come in and see your appointments, all you have to do is click the scheduler that you created, and it'll bring you in here and show you the appointments that you have. When you actually successfully meet with a student, you can just check them off right here, and that records that they attended. Likewise, if you wanted to go in there and change anything about this slot, I could click Edit right here, and I can go down and I can see that I was seen, and then if I want to make notes about this appointment, I can enter those right here. It's not letting me do that because I am myself, and I set up for the appointment. So if you want to manually add a student, and you had students in your course, you could manually add them here, check them off as seen, and add any notes that you wanted to. I don't have any students in this course, so I can't do that, but that would allow you to do so. So, and then you'd click Save Changes, and it would update the appointment so that you would see that student attended. One other thing that you might want to know is that if you want to export who has been seen, you can click Export up here at the top, and you can choose what data you want included in that spreadsheet, as well as the file format. Most people probably want Excel. Here you can see the date. By default, it's showing the teacher when the appointment happened, the end time, the start time, the student name, and whether or not they attended. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and see if I get some information about myself. So you can see right here that I booked that appointment and I marked myself as attended. So I can see in this full spreadsheet of appointments, if I need to keep track of who's been to office hours, it'll give me a spreadsheet really quickly if I'm using the scheduler module to check off who has seen me and when. It can be a really handy tool for keeping track of your student appointments in the scheduler module. So that is how to create a scheduler module and add appointments to it. Feel free to go ahead and do that in your office hours course or in any other course that you need to schedule. This is really handy for academic advising. This is a handy way to have students sign up for presentations in a course, for example. If you want to take a course time and divide it into 5-minute increments so students can sign up for when they want to give their presentation. I'd encourage you to think creatively and use this tool because it's a really great tool, and I make great use of it in my own practice every day. So thanks a lot for watching. See me with or email me with any other questions. And as always, happy Moodling.